a glass door. And I was walking and I looked and I came back and I was like, who are you? I swear, my physique was different. Who are you? I have this relationship. I was like, right, I have this relationship. I have a relationship with myself.
With you.
That's the relationship I need to work on. And the mistake of losing a bit of myself to please that person and to, Mum, I'm divorced. And she looked at me and she's like, what? What are you going to do? And I was like, what do you mean? I'm going to live? He doesn't provide oxygen. I'm still going to live.
Especially mothers. Yeah.
Fortunately. Although you can love your child and you can do a lot of things for your child without sacrificing it. Individuals. We are individuals. I am not just a mother. I am not just a wife. I'm not just a daughter. I am a human being and
you have needs as well.
And I have
yourself.
Needs, exactly. And I'm like, Aahd, do you want to save this dog because this dog needs saving? Or do you want to save this dog because later on you're going to post it on Facebook and everyone will do this to you?
Oh, I love your honesty. No, I'm serious.
Okay, I say it that way. Is it from my soul? Is it from my ego? If you are self-aware and you come, listen, I'm really sorry. I've done that. I shouldn't have. What possibly the other person, even if it's a person who's full of anger, what possibly can he do? Not much. Exactly. Good one.
Hi, welcome back to Bold Moves, the podcast where we empower women to be bold, be brave, and be you. I'm your host, Ayu. And today I just had a great, amazing conversation with Aahd. We talked a lot about self-awareness. We talked a lot about people-pleasing behavior. Where did it come from? We talked a lot about her personal growth journey. And it's very honest, transparent, real conversation, heart to heart. And I enjoyed this conversation so much. And I think you will learn so much from Aahd. So Aahd is a life coach specialized in emotional, relational, and sexual well-being. So without further ado, let's welcome Aahd Kadiri. Thank you so much for being here with me today. I really appreciate your time, Aahd. Let's get started.
Perfect. Let's do it.
So you are a coach focusing on emotional, relational, and sexual well-being, yeah? Just for the context, for the audience, can you please tell us more about that briefly? Like, who is it for? What is it for? Your approach?
Sure.
Something like that.
Sure. So I started coaching and I didn't know first, what am I going to do? Which niche? Is it parenting? I was very passionate about parenting as a mother. And I realized while I was doing parenting coaching, because that's what I started, I realized a lot of people struggle with the emotional well-being and with the relational and with the sexual. It's all connected. And coming from a person that I've struggled with that as well.
Sure.
I've got ADHD, so emotions with me is deep, is intense, so I struggled as well, and that's why I really wanted to do that niche, sexual, relational, emotional. Yeah.
Let's move on to your personal growth journey, because you mentioned a lot about that as well. There must be a story for someone to. and sometimes it's really deep. It's very, in some cases, painful story as well that make you, this is the moment, something's got to change. I've got to change moment, or enough is enough moment. Was there any that kind of moment for you when you started it?
There were a lot of moments, a lot of experiences, I would call it. My life was pretty normal up until two things happened in my life. One was I got pregnant, and then second was when my father died, which was around the same moment, the same time. And then there were moments after that when I realized I'm not doing well. So it's a lot of moments. And it's gradual.
It's accumulated.
Yeah, I think so. So I think my might change, or when I realized I'm not well, started when my father passed away, or maybe a bit later, because I wasn't there. I wasn't processing anything. And then, so later, after my father died, I realized I wasn't well. And then, for example, I was walking. So my father died on 21st of May. No, sorry, on the 2nd of June, 2015, and my son was
2015.
born. Yeah, and my son was born on the 21st of May, 2015.
Oh,
yeah. So it was very close. That's why I say it's two events. Yeah. And
the transformation, you become a mum as well.
Yeah, and I wasn't ready. It wasn't. I wasn't ready. I wasn't there when I got pregnant. My father was very sick. First of all, so I think women, when they get pregnant, they get used to the idea that they prepare themselves psychologically. Everything. I didn't prepare anything.
Not in your case.
It wasn't. I was taking care. I was back in Morocco. I was taking care of my father. He was very sick. And I didn't really prepare myself to anything. And then suddenly I'm a mum. I have this little human being that I have to take care of. And then suddenly, a few days later, my father died. And I was like, okay, so I didn't know. I didn't know what to do. The question didn't happen, actually. I was not there. Literally.
You're just there, but not really there.
I wasn't.
It was just
physical. Yes, it was. I was not there at all. I was trying to survive, to make that baby survive as well, but that was it. And that happened for a long time. I would say years.
Okay.
But gradually. So one of the moments that I was like, no, who is this? I was having my child, carrying him. He was still a baby. And I passed, that was in Morocco. I passed a door, a glass door. And I was walking and I looked and I continued walking and I was like, wait. And I came back and I was like, who are you? I swear, my physique was different. I was like this. I looked sad. I looked like...
Yeah, you can see the aura of
someone who's not... Yeah. And I'm a person who's full of energy all of my life. And I looked and I was like, what is this? It's not.
Who's that?
Yeah, exactly. Who are you?
You remember this moment, yeah?
Definitely. I don't know the exact date, but I do remember this moment. And my child was like 10 months, I guess, or even a bit less. And I was like, this is not me. The energy is not there. I'm just surviving. I'm literally just surviving. Yeah. There's no life.
Survival mode.
Yeah.
Nah.
Exactly.
With everything's happening. Wow. I mean, if you can remember that moment until now, that means, that is a turning point where you see yourself, wait, hang on. That's not me.
That's not.
I was full of energy, this kind of person that, wow, that was a turning point story.
It was, but I didn't do much back then.
It
was a turning point.
After that, what happened? Like, is there anything you do to start to change or to start to question or to start to kind of like, how do I do it? I don't know how to do this. Where do I go? I mean, have you had that kind of moments after the turning point?
Absolutely. So when, after that turning point, I went back I lived in Saudi Arabia. I was married back then. And I went back to Saudi Arabia, and then I was back to my home, to my husband at the time, who's the father of my child. And I started questioning my relationship with him. So it was one of the things that
it's very intense.
What am I doing here? Is this the right relationship I want to be at? Is there anything that we need to work on? So it started with my relationship with him, which we tried to work out for like 2 years and it didn't work. So we divorced. And then after the divorce, I focused on myself. That's when I was like,
that's when
I have time for myself. I was focusing on the relationship with my ex-husband for 2 years, trying to figure out what's missing. There is a spark missing. There's this missing. There's communication missing. There is energy missing.
Yeah.
There is a lot of things, and I'm not blaming him in this. I was not myself as well. I told you when I looked at myself. So yeah, I started trying to work on this relationship that I had, and then when I didn't have this relationship, I was like, right, I have this relationship. I have a relationship with myself.
With you.
That's the relationship I need to work on. And if I am showing up as a better person for myself, I'm going to show up as a better person for my child, for the next relationship I'm having, for my mother, which also changed a lot. My relationship with my mother was completely disaster a long time ago. And it became an amazing relationship later on. Just because I worked on myself. I realized it wasn't the relationship, it wasn't the husband, it wasn't my mother, it wasn't my sister, it wasn't my brother, it was myself. It was me.
Wow. It's an eye-opener when you say that. It was actually me.
Yeah.
You're taking responsibility of everything.
Absolutely.
You're not pointing fingers. No, it's because of you, it's because of you, it's because of you.
No.
It
was me.
You are big enough to realize that, shit, I need to work on myself. And it takes for me courage and bravery to learn to take accountability of what happened, to say, okay, I'm the one who needs to change. Because sometimes in a situation and circumstances that we are, people tend to
point fingers
or blaming the whole situation, the COVID, the whole thing,
victimizing.
It's because of my parents. It's just for me, for someone who can take that as I have to work on myself, and then things will follow.
Yeah.
I adore that attitude. I adore that thinking and mindset, especially after the things that happened to you. You lost your father, you just had your babies, and then you start questioning your relationship, and then, okay, that's not for me. And then to be able to, shit, I've got to work on myself.
Well, I've done a few travels around alone by myself, just to reflect. First of all, it was for me. It was I'm divorcing. I'm going to have fun. Let's go and travel and see the world. Yeah, exactly. But then during some of these trips,
were they ever feeling lonely after
no.
you were with someone and then you were divorced, and then
it was confusing. I've been with this person for like 11 or 12 years. So my marriage stayed for 10 years. So after the divorce, it was a bit confusing. How am I going to go out?
Attachment, detachment, you think?
No, it wasn't that. It wasn't that. It was, how is it? How is life? I don't know what's life other than this person. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And because I've done also the mistake of losing a bit of myself to please that person and to stay in a relationship. So I'm a person who loves going out, who loves life, who loves traveling, who loves meeting new people, doing new things, adventurous. My ex-husband was a person who loves to stay at home. So I used to...
So you lost a little bit, not a lot, quite a lot of yourself in that relationship.
Which was very conscious, and it was very...
yes.
It was a choice.
It was your choice.
It was a choice. I wouldn't go out and then let him stay at home, etc. So I've lost a bit of myself.
Was it difficult to rediscover yourself again? Was it a long journey, or is there any mindset shift? I believe a lot of people probably have similar situation or any other situation that it feels stuck. It feels like it's not me. And what kind of mindset shift that you have? Because it's got to be something in your head.
Yeah.
After that, what would you share?
It was who I am, who I really am, without me pleasing a husband, pleasing a son, pleasing a mother, pleasing a sister. Who am I? Who I really are, deep inside of me, what I really want. not what I want, because if I do this person will be mad. If I do that, the society will be mad.
I love it. No, I love it.
Even the society judge you for.
Talk about
that. If I divorce, and that's why that point came actually. Sorry, but that point came actually just a little bit before the divorce. I come from Morocco. No one in my family is divorced. I come from a very I don't know how to say it.
Traditional
culture.
Very, very have rich traditional culture in the family and society.
And divorce is not. It's not looking good.
The same.
It doesn't look good. It does not.
No.
It's a no. Although my father was like he married a few times before my mum, but for a man, it's.
For women, it's
for
different,
women is a
right?
completely different story.
For women, it's completely different story.
It is. For example, my mum, when I told her I'm getting divorced, actually I told her I am divorced because I divorced, and then I told her. I didn't tell anyone because I didn't want anyone to influence me.
True. That is actually good.
Yeah. I didn't. So when I got divorced and I went to her and I was like, Mum, I'm divorced. And she looked at me and she's like, what? What are you going to do? And I was like, what do you mean? I'm going to live? And she's like, how are you going to live? And I was like, he doesn't provide oxygen. I'm still going to live. Like,
oh my God, I love that.
He does not.
No, I mean,
he's a nice person and everything, but my life is my life.
Your life.
I can live, and as long as I'm breathing, I'm living.
It's difficult for the society to understand what you just said. Like, if you are divorced, if you're without men, how are you going to survive? Yeah. That's the first question. Like my friend, story of my friend, her husband said, I'm going to divorce you. Like things like that. And she came to me like panic, like, what am I going to do? I cannot find a job. Like, it's just like that after. They're already thinking about that. Like, I cannot live without.
The financial part it plays a big part.
Yes, of course.
If someone is with someone and financially not independent, that's a little bit tricky. I was fortunate enough to not have that. I already had my business back then, and to be honest, even if I didn't, maybe I don't know, maybe it's me. Even if I didn't, I would. I know how.
You
strong I am, and I know I am able. I am able to make money, to find a way to make businesses, and so on and so on. So, financial part is also a big thing with my clients as well. When they are not financially able to support themselves, I have a clients who are in a relationship and they don't want to be in that relationship. But then the financial part stopped them, because if they divorce that person,
who am I?
They're gonna suffer to survive or to live.
Let's go back into the self thingy that you mentioned before, and I see it like self-awareness, right? You got to know, who am I? Who am I really?
Yeah.
And then what needs to change? And I think I call it like something like self-awareness. Like, you have to be aware of yourself and what you are, what you need to change, all of those things. How is it this self-awareness plays a role in creating or building relationship? Do you think there is a importance of having self-awareness before you build a healthy relationship?
Absolutely.
Let's just talk about couples.
It's like when I started talking earlier and you said, I love how you don't blame yourself. You don't blame others and you say it's me. That's self-awareness. When you are self-aware, you know that you've done wrong. If you've done wrong, we all make mistakes, right? If you do something wrong, you know that you've done it. You come to that the other person and you say, sorry, I acknowledge that I've done that. There is nothing healthier than this. If you are self-aware and you come, listen, I'm really sorry. I've done that. I shouldn't have done it. And I'm sorry. What possibly the other person, even if it's a person who's full of anger, what possibly can he do?
Not
much.
Exactly. The same word. Not much. So what?
Yeah, exactly. Because when you come surrendering.
Surrendering, I love that word.
Yeah, so you just surrender. But you need to come in a genuine, from a genuine place.
Yeah.
And it has to be sincere. The other person cannot do anything. You're going to work things out, and then you acknowledge what you've done. They might acknowledge, when you acknowledge what you've done wrong, you encourage the other person to do the same.
True. Yeah. Now I have scenarios coming in my mind. Yeah.
So I think self-awareness is knowing, is stepping out of the ego.
Okay, step out. Love that word as well. You just have beautiful words.
If the other person did the same thing to me, how am I going to react? Would I be hurt? Would I be waiting for an apology? Would I be in pain? So I need to let this situation, I need to correct whatever I've done. Because we all do the mistakes. We have to repair. The repair after the mistake is the most important thing.
That's the most important part.
It is. Because we all make mistakes, and we are all going, no matter how healing and how self-aware and how healed and centered and grounded you are going to make a mistake. The repair after the mistake, this is what's
the essence of everything.
It is.
Are you going to do the same again? Are you going to do the same?
Are you going to change the way you react? Are you going to change your behavior? Are you going to let your emotions carry you? Are you going to, first of all, are you going to apologize for what you've done?
Yeah.
It's the repair. It's always the repair that matters.
That's the first step. Yeah.
Yeah.
I just remember my parents, and it's just like, sorry is not part of our culture, like my culture, like
same with ours.
It's just, but actually it doesn't have to be your age. Everyone makes mistakes, right? Like either you are young, old, you are my mum, you are my auntie. I make mistakes to them as well. But my mum, since I started to say sorry to her, if I hurt her feelings without intention, she's starting to say that to me. And I love that. And that's why I know what you do, it influences other people as well. It's like a mirror. And I love that. But my dad is another story. And he's never said sorry to anyone in his life. Like typical, this kind of man with, but he said thank you though. He says thank you, so he's fine. Talking about relationship, because you also focus on relationship as well, right? What do you think is key things for maintaining or creating healthy relationship in couples? Things or something like that?
There are a lot of things to have a healthy relationship. I would say communication, honest communication. Honest communication, because if honest and genuine and not when you're angry. We might have something, and then I want to communicate it to you, and I'm angry, and I will communicate it in a different way. There is a huge difference between, oh, you've done this, you've done that to me, and
the way you say it,
and then you go back and you calm down, and then there is this thing that bothers me, and I would love it to change. So if you've noticed now that I just said it, and I'm realizing. The first one is like, you've done that to me. You're accusing the other person. But then the other one, I feel this and that. And I would love this and that to change. You're not accusing the other person.
And you use the word I feel. Because it's you the one who feels. But if
you've done that.
Yeah,
you've done this. It's accusation. You put the other person in an instinct defense mode.
Yeah, correct. I was about to say defensive. That's what happens in the argument. Yeah. Right? What the other one get defensive and oh my God, you cannot treat me that way, and then the other one back that one, and it's stupid, really. But that is, I think, energy, like how you approach people. If I approach you like, you've done this, like what?
And energy comes from a state of emotions.
Oh, can you say more, Anna? I want it to be.
So if I'm here and I'm speaking to you, and I have a very settled energy, for example. That means I'm settled. I'm grounded. All is good. When I talk to you and I'm like, yes, this and this, there is a bit of,
it's not comfortable,
anger in me that I want to let go in a way, or there is a bit of insecurity in me that wants to come out as a confident person, and I need to be this
the alpha.
Yeah, exactly. So I feel like energy comes from a state of emotions that you are at.
It's true.
If you're grounded, you're going to be very calm and peaceful.
If you're calm, if you're happy, for example, now we are in here. It's a beautiful place in here, by the way.
Thank you.
And it's a nice way to have a conversation.
Yeah.
There is no hurry. There is no that kind of noise, like cars. And it's just, like you say, and I feel calm in here. And having this conversation with you, it's just, it brings me positive energy.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I feel like we build this kind of, we just met today, like face to face, really. And it's just like we are building this relationship as well.
When I was talking about me, who I am, etc., I felt so I'm a person who's self-aware, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
And I felt a bit of emotion coming out. And I even saw myself doing this when I was talking to about myself. When I looked at myself and I was like, oh, I am. I felt like a bit of emotions inside.
Of course.
And that's how my energy changed.
I actually like the energy when you say that, because it's strong energy that you are passionate about it. Then I had to change. It's like I was with you at that moment and you're kind of like, who is this? Like, it's not me. And of course you have a little bit of disappointment, but of yourself, but then you turn that into, look at you now.
Yeah, absolutely.
You've come
a long way.
And you talk about people pleasing as well. And the reality of sexually traits for women. I don't know. What I heard is from, like, it's a trauma response from our society as well, that we are, we want to make other people happy. And I see it in between the society, between my friends and my age. And women tend to sacrifice, might be the wrong word, but I'm just going to say it anyway. Sacrifice a lot.
Yeah. Mothers do that a lot as well.
Especially mothers. Yeah.
Fortunately. Like, although you can love your child and you can do a lot of things for your child without sacrificing yourself. And after I'm doing it. If I'm doing it, everyone can do it.
It's like filling your cup first.
Yeah.
Like taking care of you
as
first,
an individual.
Emotional.
We are individuals. I am not just a mother. I am not just a wife. I'm not just a daughter. I am a human being, and
you have needs as well.
And I
for
have
yourself.
needs, exactly. And I can't. And my needs doesn't have to be overstepping other people's needs.
No, it
my needs. If I need to have a moment, it doesn't mean that I'm gonna neglect my son, or I'm gonna neglect my partner, or I'm gonna shut down. Or no, you can still take care of yourself while being a mother, or being a wife, or being a daughter, or whatever. You can still take care of yourself, and you can still try to fulfill your needs without trying to just let yourself down because you're a mother of 2 or 3 year old. You don't have to.
Yeah, it's kind of like the people pleasing behavior that we all kind of like our default mode sometimes as a woman. So you have to remind yourself, like, and it's very unfortunate. It's not supposed to be that way. It's like default mode. Like, I see it with my family, my friends. They do that. I mean, especially,
we all do that.
Yeah, I do that too. Like to please. Sometimes if I don't want to do something, but I've got to do it because my dad is my mom.
Sometimes even you avoid the conflict. You avoid to tell the other person what you're feeling, just to avoid the conflict, because you don't want to create a tension. And that's when you leave a part of you.
How do we manage that when we have that kind of conflict? It's like if you don't want to do A, but this person is that important for you.
Yeah.
How would you be not people pleasing in that moment? I mean, you cannot be. I mean, there's people. A lot of say people pleasing, and you're selfish if you're not doing this.
Yeah.
And how do you?
There's
how
a
do
middle
you kind of-
ground.
yeah, yeah,
It's not only people pleaser or selfish. There is a middle ground. Absolutely.
And that's okay to go to that middle
Absolutely.
ground, right?
Absolutely.
Because
It's
sometimes
so
it feels
good.
guilty, like, no, you cannot be selfish. But it's just so difficult in that kind of like selfish, this people pleasing.
In the middle
But
ground.
it's okay because it's a journey.
It is. And so in a relationship or romantic, if you want, I mean, in all relationships, I used to be a huge people pleaser. I thought I was a kind person and I was a generous person. And that's why I used to please people, because if this person needs help, I will help them.
Yeah.
If this person needs
You're available for them.
I will be. And I thought my whole life, and because I heard it as well from my parents, my sister, my brother, I'm a generous person. Ahad is a very generous person. Ahad is a very kind person. Ahad is a very emotional person.
So
Ahad
you're
is this.
attached to that.
I got attached.
Yes.
And then I was doing things based on that. So I'm still a kind person.
So that's what you believe.
No. I don't want to lose
those words.
exactly from this person.
Now I get it. Yeah.
So you say I'm a kind and generous person, okay, and you want, I don't know, something from me. I'm gonna be there, even if I need it.
Whoa, that slaps me.
Now, yeah.
When you're doing it because you don't want to lose those
the people.
The people, the attributes of you being kind, generous, and you are always there for people.
I know.
But you do these things because of that, not because you want to do it, but sometimes you want to do it.
There was a turning point. I'm going to tell you the story of this person, of this moment. I've never thought I was a people pleaser. I thought I'm kind and generous. I'm just available for other people. This word people pleaser never came to my mind. And then, so I've told you before, I used to do a lot of rescuing, dogs rescue.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Back in Saudi, I used to be, I used to rescue a lot of dogs. My house would be full of 12, 15 dogs. Yeah, in Saudi. My house would be packed with dogs, and I used to do everything by myself. I didn't have any help at home.
Oh, that must be tough.
It was very tough, but it was very rewarding. Like when you have a dog and they're like when you treat them and then you find them a great home and then they go and they thrive and they have a lot of love. It is very rewarding.
It is.
But my whole life, I thought I'm just a kind and generous person. Right?
I can see where this is going.
I thought it's just me. I am who I am. I'm a kind and generous person. I'm going to take all these dogs in and I'm not going to say no to anyone. People used to call me at 2 or 3 a.m. in the morning. Hello, we have this dog. We don't know what to do. Yes, please bring him. And I'm already full. I'm already broke, full of dogs. I'm already tired physically and emotionally.
Of course.
And I still say yes to other people because of another dog. The turning point when I started my journey and I started knowing myself and I started reflecting on myself, I started journaling, I started doing a lot of things. I was driving my car in the diplomatic quarter in Saudi Arabia. I used to live in Riyadh. I was driving my car and I see a dog passing by. And before that dog, by the way, I had a dog with a paralyzed dog that I couldn't find a home to. He's now in the States. He's happy. I took him personally to the States. And no one wanted to foster him. No one wanted to help with the bills. I had a huge bill. And after this dog, I decided that's it. I'm stopping this. I can't do this. It's too much. So I took this dog to the States and all was good. So I stopped temporarily rescuing. And then I was driving and this dog passed by. And I stopped in the middle of the road. And I'm like, Aahd, do you want to save this dog because this dog needs saving? Or do you want to save this dog because later on you're going to post it on Facebook and everyone will do this to you?
Oh, I love your honesty. No, I'm serious.
Are you looking for validation or are you doing it for this dog? Are you trying to save the dog? Because yes, part of me, I love dogs and I wanted to help dogs, but I realized a big part of me was very happy when I post that I rescued a dog and you say hundreds of people.
Again, self-awareness in there.
And you see hundreds of people saying, oh, good job.
Well done.
Well done, you. We are so proud of you. Part of me, I'm not lying. Part of me loved that part.
Yep.
But, and I'm not saying I was doing this only for the validation. I was doing this for the dogs as well because I love dogs.
But you love that part as well. The validation from other people.
Exactly. I loved it. And
saying it out loud, what you're doing, you're
and putting it there on Facebook, and you're amazing, and you're this and that. So part of me was unconsciously looking for this. I didn't know it. I didn't do it consciously, unconsciously. But then when this dog passed by and I stopped in the middle of the road, I was looking at the dog and I was like, and I stopped for 20 seconds, I guess. And I found myself going out and grabbed the dog and I didn't post about him.
That's a change.
I know. And I usually post not only for validation, subconsciously, I think for a validation as well. But I also post
need to do it because
you can get someone to adopt or foster or so on and so on. So I grabbed the dog, I put it in my car, and I drove back home. And I've never posted about him. No, actually, I've posted later on. So I didn't post about, oh, look at me, I found this, that.
That you stop for 20 seconds to kind of like, okay, I'm doing it for the dog or for that validation. Yeah. And that is that's the turning point. Because I was about to say.
Everything I do, I stop for a few seconds. Now it comes naturally. But then every moment, everything I want to do, are you doing it because you really want to do it, or are you doing it to please that person? Are you doing it because you really want to do it, or are you doing it because you're looking for validation? Are you doing it because you really want to do it deep inside of you?
That is a great tip for everyone who's listening. So do that. 20 seconds, 1 minute, but not 3 days reflection. If you want to do something, you've got to think, is it from me, from within, to do something?
And there is a voice inside of you that you will hear. Is it really for you, or is it for, okay, I say it that way. Is it for my soul? Is it for my ego?
That's even more beautiful.
Is it for me, my soul, or my ego wants validation? My ego wants money. My ego wants status. My ego wants beauty. My ego wants fame. My ego wants this and that. Am I doing it for myself, deep inside of me, in my core, in my soul, or am I doing it for the others or for something else?
Wow, I love that. I love that. I think all of us need to do it more.
Yeah.
So we can understand more about our soul, ourselves. Is it like, I love the way you are so honest, saying that. I love that validation as well.
Yeah.
I love that some validations as well. Yeah. But again, now that I'm talking to a lot of women, and inspired women, empowered women that believe in their self, that have a lot of understanding about themselves. It's a long life journey.
It is. And it's not finishing. I'm still discovering loads of stuff every day. Loads of stuff. Every day is a discovery. I think I will keep discovering myself.
Every day is a discovery.
Until I die. Maybe on my deathbed, I'm like, oh, I didn't know that. Now I know.
Yeah, that's right. Like every day is a self-discovery. Let's go back to the habits of practice, because I'm interested in that, because we were talking about let's think before we want to do something. What do you think one of another habits of practice that women should do to rebuild or build their sense of self?
I always say to my clients, so I don't know if I told you about the DARE method I've developed.
Oh yeah, could you please say that? So the method.
It's just to explain how it's part of the DARE method. So it's discover, authenticity, rise, and evolved. Right?
Beautiful.
And that's because I discovered my authenticity.
Discover, authenticity,
rise and evolve. Because I discovered my authenticity when I was looking for who I am? Am I doing it for my mom? I'm doing it for my husband. Am I doing it for my child? Or am I doing this because of that? Or am I doing it because I really want it? So authentic self is something that's there. Everyone has it, but then it's buried. Buried. There are a lot of traumas that came
buried.
up.
I have to dig.
We all
so
have
deep
to dig
to find that authenticity of me, and it's a big work. So that's authenticity part.
Yeah, and part of my method as well, or the way I coach people around, is what you just asked, habits. And I always ask people, if you want to know someone, what would you do? Sit with them, ask questions.
So, have a conversation, ask
Have a conversation with yourself.
Oh.
Have questions, ask questions to yourself.
Yeah.
Have a conversation with yourself.
It's like you're treating yourself like you're treating your best friend.
Yeah.
Like if you want to.
Yes. Just sit with yourself and ask yourself questions.
That's true. That's true.
That's the easiest way to know anyone. So why we don't do it with ourselves? We don't.
No.
Yeah.
No,
because we have, I think we don't do that because we already have an idea of who we are. We grew up
people's voices.
Hearing the mother saying you're this.
Yeah.
Hearing the father saying you're that. Hearing the sister saying this. And the brother and the cousins and the aunties and the uncles. So we don't actually, we believe it, and we don't go one step ahead and then ask ourselves the questions. We didn't question. The easiest way to know someone is to sit down with them, have a conversation, ask questions. And if everyone does that with themselves, we will know.
We will know ourselves.
You will know. There's a voice inside that will answer.
Your inner voice. You've got that. I like this conversation because it's very honest. And you mentioned about the key principle of relationship is honesty, transparency, and allowing people to make mistakes as well.
Yeah.
I think I heard that somewhere, I think yesterday, like me loving you, when you love people, also make a room for them to make mistakes without you thinking the other person wanted to hurt you. But sometimes it's just make mistakes.
We all make mistakes.
Yeah, we all make mistakes.
And we should allow ourselves to make mistakes, and we should forgive ourselves to make mistakes.
But remember, after that, the important part?
It's the repair.
The lesson, the repair.
The repair.
Yeah. Oh my God, it's been so lovely. Before we're wrapping up, I'm just going to ask one more question. Sure. It's just like for the audience, or I think women, because it's usually for women. If you can give a short message to the women that feel stuck, feel like I'm not myself, is this it about my life that I have to sacrifice? Women that feel defeated, because I have that story as well about clients and things like that. What would you say? One message to them, like face to face. Take your time. Because you've been in that situation.
Yeah. And there is a light at the end of the tunnel. There's always a light at the end of the tunnel. There's always a good thing that's waiting for you. I always say the worst thing has already passed. And if something that doesn't kill me, that doesn't kill me, it will make me stronger. And if I'm resilient to this and that, I will be even more resilient to what's coming. And welcome to be a human being. We're all going through, you're going to lose people, you're going to lose dogs.
Normalize that. That is, yeah.
We're going to lose people.
There is a light at the end of the tunnel.
Yeah, there is always a light at the end of the tunnel.
Don't lose hope.
Yeah, of course not. It's there for a reason.
That's right. And that's beautiful where you say it, because sometimes when you are in a dark tunnel, you think that
that's it.
That's it.
Like, I'm not doing it. I'm not moving.
Help
Just
me.
move. You can move in the dark, hit yourself on a wall, and then you will know where to go. Because if you go that way and you hit yourself, you will know that the other way doesn't have a wall. Right? And then you will know where to go. It's fine to hit yourself.
To keep moving.
You just keep moving. Don't stay where you are.
Well, thank you so much for today. I hope we can do it some other time, because we are in Bali.
Sure.
We can talk about something else. And I just love the way you explain things. It's just very honest, transparent, and it's just direct, straight to the point. It's not going here and there. And I really enjoyed our conversation.
Me too.
And thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me.